I'm a bad mood, gotta keep it tight. Hold my baby squid, keep him out of sight. Talking about my life, government, stay away. If you drive, I'ma do it my own way. Squid in the ocean, swimming all alone. Ain't nobody telling me where to go. Living free, gotta stay true to myself. No need for interference from anyone else. Squid pro quo, that's the way to be. Living on my terms, setting myself free. I'ma to my baby, protecting with my no government intrusion. I control my life.
Hey guys, it's Squid. Welcome back to my channel. Hopefully the internet is working better today. It is sunny outside. It is not as hot because it's 10 a.m. I mean, it's still hot. Don't get me wrong. It's like 80 something degrees already, but you know, you get what I get. There is somebody coming out to look at it on Saturday. We shall see. I know it was hard for some of y'all to make it through that stream. And to my haters that decided to watch it on their Discord channel, thanks for the views, guys. Love you all, sort of. Like, the people that hate me, I swear, are my biggest fans because they watch every fucking thing I do. I don't get it. But today we are going to get to the updates that we didn't get to yesterday. So, you know, and I am saving, because I did talk to Mr. Squid about whatever Elon shit is, Starlink. And his first words to me was, it's really expensive for the equipment. So I'm working on that. So that's my new thing. So if you see me doing some, doing some weird shit to, weird streams and videos that I just need to mind your business. I got to earn money for new internet. Because everything else kind of sucks. Yeah. But the chat and the comments did give me a lot of food for thought as things to ask them and talk to them about. So I and Mr. Squid will be here, and they're coming during Baby Squid's birthday party. So there will be a lot of people here. So hopefully they can figure it out. I think it's moisture in one line, but I'm also screenshotting every time that the internet goes down and I see it in the app, because I have an app on my phone, that I'm screenshotting. So when they say, well, it looks good from our end, I can be like, no, bitches, like it went down on my end, and I can show you, I can prove it. And Hung Hero, thank you for the 10-month member chat. God, I've been monetized for 10 months. What the absolute. Get green, chat. And Hung Hero, thanks for the 20 Squid Pro Quo memberships. God, what would I do without certain people on this channel that have supported me and stuck by me through thick and thin? Y'all know who you are. I owe you damn near everything, and I wouldn't have a channel without you. Brickles, good morning. Thanks for being number one this morning. And Heroes Chris, hit that like while you come in. Thanks. Greetings from Belgium. How is Belgium this afternoon? Good morning, Kirby. And hey, Flash fan, how are you? Robert A. Smith Jr., how are you? What is in your... Ooh, I'm looking at your picture. Is that a mallard? Or what is that? 83 degrees here in Michigan. Yeah. Hey, Siri, what's the temperature outside right now? 83. So it's 83. So yeah, there's that. And Squaw Bob. Yeah, Paul, Hung Hero, you're a star. And Amla's girl, how are you? Jeff, good morning. Grandma Olivia, hi everyone. Mr. Landfill. Melon, how is everybody today? You're hungry. When are you not hungry? Pheasant. Okay. I've never went pheasant hunting. My nice. I don't do upland game. I'm a waterfowl kind of girl. So we do waterfowl around here. All right, we are going to get started because my dad is actually on his way. We are going to get started with Brian Kohberger, who yesterday was sentenced to 4 life sentences. But when I was watching some of the highlights from his victim impact statements, I could not sit through the entire thing because it was emotional, to say the least. What's up, Malin? You can always ask me a question, Malin. I don't have a problem with anybody asking me questions. Whether I can answer your question is a completely separate thing. But, there was one. We're gonna listen to one victim impact statement. One victim impact statement that I believe is the best victim impact statement I have ever heard in my life. What's the difference between the state and federal court regarding Lip's case and Jeremy's case? Lip sued him in state court, and that's where she sued him, so that's where he's suing her back. Right now, it doesn't meet the criteria for federal court. I mean, they could move it to federal court eventually, but she sued him in state court, and it's kind of like the thumbnail case, how they sued him in state court in Levy County Court, and he wanted to, or then they dropped it or wanted to drop it, and he's like, nah, wait a minute. Well, Lips dropped it, and Jeremy's like, nah, wait a minute. So, all right, we will see and get this, because there's one victim impact statement that I really want to play, because not like victim impact statements are ever easy to watch, but like this is Kaylee Gonzalez's sister, and she is by far the most composed, but it goes state and then federal. Federal is always over the state, kind of like an umbrella. Federal law always trumps state law no matter what, which makes a lot of things here confusing when you have federal and state laws that conflict, like the devil's lettuce issue. You have states that made it legal, but federal, it's still illegal. So things get a little, so it gets a little funky. All right, so we're going to watch this. This is court TV as of yesterday. We're going to go like that. So I get, nope, we want theater mode. There we go. All right, let's get this started.
Hello, I'd like to start by thanking the court for allowing me the time and opportunity to speak today.
Look at his body language,
Olivia,
too.
And I'm the big sister of Kaylee Gonzalez, and I was blessed to love Madison Mogan as a sister, too. I'm not here today to speak in grief. I'm here to speak in truth. Because the truth is, my sister Kaylee and her best friend Maddie were not yours to take. They were not yours to study, to stalk, or to silence. They were 2 pieces of a whole, the perfect yin and yang. They are everything that you could never be. Loved,
perfect timing.
Accepted, vibrant, accomplished, brave, and powerful. Because the truth about Kaylee and Maddie is they would have been kind to you. If you had approached them in their everyday lives, they would have given you directions, thanked you for the compliment, or awkwardly giggled to make your own words less uncomfortable for you. In a world that rejected you, they would have shown mercy. Because the truth is, I'm angry. Every day I'm angry. I'm left shouting at the inside of my own head everything I wish I could say to you.
Now's your chance. Look at his body language. He is like trying to project like he is this big person, putting his elbows out, making himself seem bigger. He didn't do that when the men were speaking. When men are speaking, his elbows are down, he's small. When women are speaking, he doesn't show much body language. and that's what makes him freaky. He's disturbing looking. But when you try to project yourself like you're bigger every time a woman speaks, it's like yeah. This is the case I know least about. Would you believe? No, I can believe that. Because it's a pretty, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to it in the sense of like it was. I don't know how to describe it, but it was pretty cut and dry. No pun intended. I've been watching a lot of Jumpsuit Pablo. If you don't follow his case or his channel, oh my God, did 10 years in prison for, I believe, an armed robbery charge in Texas. So he covers a lot of cases like Carmelo Anthony, Brian Kohberger, Wade Wilson, from what is happening or going to happen when they get to prison. So it's interesting to see it from the other side of things, and hear a felon's perspective. He talks about it all the time. So I don't mean that as a derogatory thing. It's just happens to be a true. Yeah. And this is what fascinates me about people who make plea deals to get out of to get out of death penalties. They have no regard for anybody else's life because they took people's lives. However, they're scared of their own mortality and they're scared of their own death. The irony there is just insane. So, wrongful conviction, Jumpsuit Pablo, no, he fully admits to what he did. Yeah, Steven Stearns also took a deal. It's one of those things of like, you take a deal to get out of the death penalty. It's one of those situations, but Steven Stearns also pled no contest. So there's another, he didn't actually admit that he did anything, where Brian Kohberger admitted it. But we'll get back to her statement because it's powerful.
The truth about me is when I heard the news, I didn't cry. I listened for them. I promised them I would, that I would fight for them, that I would show up no matter what it cost me. I swore I'd never let them feel alone. Because you see, I've always been their heavyweight. I've always been the one to fight the battles they didn't feel ready to fight themselves. All it ever took was a call, and they knew I would handle it for them, no matter the time, no matter the cost. They could wave their white flag because they knew I would never back down, not for them. And not even death could change that. Somewhere along the line, I started to think about what I would say to them if I was given just one last chance. If I could gather enough heartbreak or love or sacrifice or whatever it took to get just one message across, what would I say? Throughout this entire process, I've written my feelings down at every moment, my wishes, my love, my denial, my anger. And as one final act of love, I'd planned to read these thoughts, even jarring and discombobulating and not even making sense. Because for me, that was true love. As bare and as naked as it could be, not laced in pretty words or dressed for the occasion, but written through bleary eyes at 2 a.m. with hungry at this reality. My true final act of love was to continue for them. That dream to read aloud my love to them, to bring meaning through pain, was the latest blow in realizing you don't deserve it. And Kaylee and Maddie don't need it. Kaylee and Maddie have always known my love. And prove it by further victimizing myself to a defendant who has shown no guilt, no remorse, no apprehension. They would say to me, why would you give the satisfaction of showing vulnerability now? You promised.
And I know, guys, let me see if I can change the, if it automatically goes back to 720. Let me see if I can change it to 480 and see if it helps. So I also turned off my, if that helps anything at all. So, but it is better than yesterday, knock on wood, yesterday. So, but she gets pretty powerful. And I'm an emotional person ish at the right times with the right things. But like, this is one of the reasons that I did not watch this live. I did not want to do this live. The fact that we watch it on replay, we watch it a little bit faster, but just seeing his, like, he's having no reaction to this. And it seems like he's trying to, whatever reaction he is trying to have, he's trying to keep, you see him trying to shift in his chair. It's like I think he's like, every time that is when they mention the victims' names, like he's excited or happy or like, I think he's a psychopath. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist. Just my inkling is that there's a diagnosis there. Yeah. Oh, just wait, Malin. Like, yeah, stone cold killer. Like, and it's going to be interesting when he gets to prison because, like, I was listening to Jumpsuit Pablo talk about who's going to like recruit him into what area of prison life, if you know what I mean. If you know, you know. Because of the fact that he stabbed people. He's not going to be able to find people that trust him because he's unpredictable. But he also has no problem with getting up close and personal and taking someone's life. Like, there's a big difference between using a wireless hole puncher at a distance, in my opinion, and like using a sharp object at a personal distance. Like, there's a you know. Yeah. Oh, they get into this. We'll get this started again.
You would never back down. And for that clarity, I'm thankful. I won't stand here and give you what you want. I won't offer you tears. I won't offer you trembling. Disappointments like you thrive on pain, on fear, and on the illusion of power. And I won't feed your beast. Instead, I will call you what you are. Sociopath, psychopath, murderer. Ask the questions that reverberate violently in my own head, so loudly that I can't think straight most any day. Some of these might be familiar, so sit up straight when I talk to you. How was your life right before you murdered my sisters? Did you prepare for the crime before leaving your apartment? Please detail what you were thinking and feeling at this time. Why did you choose my sisters? Before making your move, did you approach my sisters? Detail what you were thinking and feeling. Before leaving their home, is there anything else you did? How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper? Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows? Why November 13th? Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card? How do you find it enjoyable to stargaze with such a severe case of visual snow? Where is the murder weapon? The clothes you wore that night? What did you bring into the house with you? What was the second weapon you used on Kaylee? What were Kaylee's last words? Please describe in detail.
Did you see him it looked like he was trying to hold back a smile. Like, when she was talking about the weapon and like, but she is like letting him have it. And I think the judge is trying not to laugh because I would be like, oh shit. Like I'd go from crying to laughing in like 2.5 seconds.
The level of anxiety you must have felt when you heard the Bearcat pull up to your family home on December 30th, 2022. Which do you regret more? returning to the crime scene 5 hours later, or never, ever going back to Moscow, not even once, after stalking them there for months. If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now? What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real? You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you? Do you feel anything at all? Or are you exactly what you always feared? Nothing. If you're so powerful, then why are you still hiding, defendant? You see, I'm here today as me. But who are you? Let's try to take off your mask and see. You didn't create devastation. You revealed it in yourself. And that darkness you carry, that emptiness, you'll sit with it long after this is over. That is your sentence. And it was written on the wall long before you ever pled guilty. You didn't win. You just exposed yourself as the coward you are.
I don't think this one was a false confession just because of his body language. A lot of the things that also went into it, I don't think that it was a false confession. Just and mainly because of how he's acting. Yeah, defendants can't act. Everybody's going to comment on, well, he's too talkative. He's not talkative enough. He's this, he's that. But there is some psychologically, and like I said, not a doctor, but if I go back to school, I'm getting my minor in psych, which is, I'm only 3 credits away, which is 1 class. But there is just some weird, psychological things here that make that an innocent person in my mind would not do. So this one, I just don't see him being. I don't see him being innocent.
You're a delusional, pathetic, hypochondriac loser who thought you were so much smarter than everybody else. Constantly scolding, turning your nose up to grammar mistakes, nitpicking and criticizing others. You wanted so badly to be different, to be special, to be better, to be deep, to be mysterious. You found yourself thinking you were better than everyone else, and you thought you could figure out the human psyche and see through it, all while tweaked out on heroin. Lurking in the shadows made you feel powerful because no one ever paid you any attention in the light. You thought you were exceptional, all because of a grade on a paper. You thought you were elite because your online IQ test from 2010 told you so. All of that effort just to seem important. It's desperate. There is a name for your condition, though. Your inflated ego just didn't allow you to see it. Wannabe.
I was muted. Might help if I unmute myself to talk. Narcissist, if he is truly a narcissist, which I believe there's a difference also between having narcissistic personality traits and narcissistic personality disorder. Everybody has a narcissistic trait or two. That is not a diagnosis. However, narcissists don't like being told that they're wrong, they're stupid, their decisions were bad, they're not the best person in the room, they're not the smartest person in the room. So everything she's doing is pissing him off. So if she's pissing him off and she's doing it on purpose, which is the funniest part, because he really can't do or say anything back.
You act like no one could ever understand your mind, but the truth is you're basic. You're a textbook case of insecurity disguised as control. Your patterns are predictable. Your motives are shallow. You are not profound. You're pathetic. You aren't special or deep, not mysterious or exceptional. Don't ever get it twisted again. No one is scared of you today. No one is intimidated by you. No one is impressed by you. No one thinks that you are important. You orchestrated this like you thought you were God. Now look at you, begging a courtroom for scraps. You spent months preparing, and still all it took was my sister in a sheath. You work so hard to seem dangerous, but real control doesn't have to prove itself. The truth is, the scariest part about you is how painfully average you turned out to be. The truth is, you're as dumb as they come. Stupid, clumsy, slow, sloppy, weak, dirty. Let me be very clear. Don't ever try to convince yourself you mattered just because someone finally said your name out loud. I see through you. You want the truth? Here's the one you'll hate the most. If you hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your fucking ass. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. That line, yeah. One, I was 8 when, I was 6 when the Dahmer trial was going on. And 2, I lived 20 minutes from Dahmer. So that's not really a trial that I want to watch, even though, a straight white female is not really his type. I lived in the same general vicinity. So I did not watch much of Dahmer's anything. So it's like you can reach them, they're emotionally unreachable. Yeah, it's just funny to watch his body language and how he doesn't have any, and you can see what he does have. He's trying to swallow down, so to speak. And the fact that narcissists don't like being told that they are bad at things. Ask me how I know. They will never admit that they're wrong. So being told all this shit is just, he'll never show any of it, but it will eat at him. And the more people that tell him he's wrong and he's stupid and this and that, that's funny to me. I always like to tell a narcissist that they're stupid and that they're worthless because it eats at them. They might not show it outwardly, but internally it eats at them because I've seen it. It's the people who play my streams on Discord. So thanks, guys, for the view. You have that much time on your hands that you watch my streams on your Discord server. Yeah, it was, I saw it yesterday and I wanted to play it because I thought I wanted to talk about it yesterday. And then the documents from the guardianship have took way longer than I was expecting. And I have more documents. After that stream yesterday, my inbox was flooded with not flooded, but trickled with a couple more. So I appreciate those of you who have decided to send me more information that you guys have. I'm once again not no Flash fan. You're fine. It's hilarious to me because they're just mad. They're just angry at me because they don't like me. But you already know who they are. Flash, you and I will talk. Oh, and Mama Squid, Grandpa will be here in about 25 or 30 minutes. So I've been fighting for souls that toxically, emotionally damages and cons many years. They're dark, no light there. All their intent, nothing more exists in these minds. Yeah. And there's people who are that look like they are super normal, go to school, have functioning families, but they are some deeply disturbed people, such as this. Like, he was a master's student or he was a grad student. I don't know if he was going for a master's or a PhD, but deeply disturbed individual. Morning, you're ready in Pride Flag. Oh my goodness. No, because I just laugh at these people because I'm like, thanks for the ad revenue. Y'all are awesome. Like, thanks for the watch hours, the views. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah, and the fact is, like, I don't even pity these people because, like, it takes mental energy, and it's just funny to laugh at them because that's all they're worth. When you're so worthless that you have to resort to making fun of me on a Discord stream because you can't even do it on a YouTube channel because you'll get called out too many times. Y'all, shit still gets back to me somehow. I get multiple messages. Not that I care, but like people still feel the need to tell me, which is hilarious. Like, thanks, guys. All right. Then the good old Sarah Boone. I know. No, I dropped my phone. And my phone vibrated. Sarah. Lots of Sarahs today. Appeal. So Sarah Boone is having problems with her lawyer. Shocker, right? Unfortunately, she hasn't written anything by hand that I've gotten a hold of. But she does have... Oh, and where is it? Did I download it and then not... Sarah. I have to go back into the... 25... I have to go back into the stuff, unless I saved it in the wrong folder, which is a very real possibility these days. All right, we have to go back into Orange County's clerk of court website. So we'll skip that for today. All I know is she is having a problem with her lawyer. Her lawyer won't talk to her. Yeah, I have the document. I just don't remember where I put it. And I thought I had it saved in my I thought I had it saved in my Sarah Boone folder because I got a folder for every case that I cover, but it might be in state cases. Florida. Nope, I have to look. It's on the website still. But Sarah Boone's lawyer is not communicating with her like she wants. I'll just go into the Orange County. Usually I have all that ready to go. I just for some reason didn't. And Sarah Boone. Yeah. Her appeals lawyer. On July 8th, there was a notice of inquiry filed. And here we go. So, State of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Comes now Sarah Boone. The appellant respectfully moves this honorable court to please provide status of her court-appointed appellate attorney, Joshua Adams, Esquire, in addition to her inquiry as to the status of her pending appeal. In support, the appellant states the following. An order was filed with the Ninth Judicial Circuit by the Circuit Court Judge Michael Kranick appointing appellate counsel on December 18th, 2024. Court-appointed appellate counsel Joshua Adams has sent a single basic introduction via inmate messaging to appellant on February 27th of 25, asking if she had any information and do not hesitate to contact him. Owens retired. He said that he wasn't handling her appeal. His law firm doesn't appear to be open anymore. Remember, we looked at his website and his website's down. It says permanently closed. So, appellant has attempted to contact Mr. Adams via inmate messaging 5 times and now sent 2 handwritten letters to his office in efforts to receive the status of her appeal and to confirm receipt of her correspondence to ensure his representation and is still active and from no response from him. To present date of this inquiry, appellant has not received any type of response or correspondence in any form or matter from Joshua Adams, nor has any of her 9 third-party representatives on behalf of her via email and phone calls, each which go directly to his voicemail. Ongoing 7 months, appellant has received 1 message from her court-appointed appellate attorney, Joshua Adams. Appellant was recently made aware by a third-party representative that the court issued an order on June 13th with a 20-day due date requiring an initial brief be filed or her appeal may be dismissed. Due to the complete lack of proper and effective communication from her court-appointed appellate attorney, the appellant's appeal is now in jeopardy. Yeah, I think this, from reading this, I think she's actually right. It's one of those rare times that I actually agree with Sarah Boone. Lord have mercy. Like, I don't think her appeal is going to go anywhere. However, it's her constitutional right to be able to file an appeal. And I kept checking, like Flash Fan knows, I checked weekly for her appeal briefs in the state appellates or the state appeals website. It's not there. And I kept checking and maybe now we know why. Like, yes, it will have the same result. However, it's one of those things of she is entitled to the right to appeal. And if we take away her right to appeal, that could be you, me, anybody the next time. So as much as I don't think her appeal is going to go anywhere, it's still her right to do it. And remember, we can't just pick and choose when we apply these rights to people, because if they take away the rights for one person, they could do it to you next. That's why we got to hold everybody accountable and no one's above the law. But also, even though we think people are guilty, they're still entitled to their rights. Got to treat her fairly, unfortunately. Yeah, I might not like her, but yeah. I'm experienced on here. Please be also aware of Dark Side of YouTube. It's where all the trolls get together to fight themselves, attack and fight you. It's like the Purge YouTube style. And it's funny to sit back and grab your popcorn and just watch it happen. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now, because I just find it funny. It's hilarious. The failure of an appointed attorney to perform duties or communicate with their client cannot be held against the appellant. She's right. Dismissal of an appeal under these circumstances would be an obvious denial of her due process and effective assistance of counsel. See Pullen v. State. And that's the thing. I don't know how she does it, but Sarah Boone has pulled out some interesting case law out of her butt that apparently she writes better. Sarah Boone, and I have a whole Sarah Boone playlist. Sarah Boone, in my opinion, writes better emotions than Bubbles. Sarah Boone writes better than, I think she did. Yeah, she wrote this. See Pullen v. State, Florida 2001. The failure of appointed counsel to act cannot be imputed to the defendant to justify dismissal. See also Edge v. State, Florida 2nd District Court of Appeals 2005. Appellant further invokes Douglas v. California 1963, which guarantees the right to counsel on first appeal as of right, and Adders v. California 1967, which outlines the duty of the appointed appellate counsel to support the appeal or withdraw following proper procedures, neither of which have been followed here. I mean, it's struggling, but it's better. It's better. I mean, it's not, we're not completely dropping out like we were yesterday, but it's also not raining outside and it's cooler than it was yesterday because it's earlier in the day. Because a lot of people that are watching, a lot of people hate watch me, which is like, you know, I'm the same, Paul. I block those that irritate me. And I just laugh because the funny thing is even blocking is like a mental energy that like is, and I have no, you know, like y'all do what you need to do. Everybody's an adult, but I just find it hilarious. And I just laugh because this is how I get my fucking entertainment. Like y'all realize that most of my day is spent talking to an almost 3-year-old. So like when people come in and start to try to make fun of me, or I hear that people are like making fun of me and stuff, it's like, okay, like, cool. Fine. Hi. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the money. You know, but I wish people would hit the like button or the dislike button. Like, you know, I appreciate that, Judy. And a lot of people don't, but some people do. And it's like, it's funny because I've had conversations with people and a lot of the people that came here from What the Hales, I love you guys. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, y'all will be like, well, when I watched The Fleas or when I watched this person, I'm like, how do y'all do that? How do y'all do that? Because I don't have the time to watch everybody I want to watch and all the topics that I want to watch. I don't understand how y'all watch people that literally have the voice of like nails on a chalkboard. And I know I have the Southern Youper shit going on, so I talk funny. But like, damn. I don't see the point. So when people hate watch me, I'm like, y'all are funny because you don't like me and you claim to not like me. But like, you watch everything I do. It's like, what the hell? Oh, yes, and I still have to email you back. I feel so bad because like 3D Life has taken over. With her birthday coming up, it's like, you know, someone hate watches. People hate watch me all the time. Like someone put me on their Discord server and watched my stream on their Discord server. Like, you know, like it's so like, thanks for the view. Like, yeah, like I've never watched any of the What the Hales channel. I don't want them to even make a penny because I went to their channel. Well, there's that. But it's also like where do y'all have the time? Like there's only 24 hours in a day. Like where do y'all find the time? like between being a mom, trying to run my own channel, trying to work outside of my house, trying to run my house, trying to plan things in 3D Life and have friends and a life in 3D Life, keep up with everything that I want to keep up with. Where do y'all find the damn time? That's why I'm like, Heroes Chris sent me an email and like somebody asked me if I got it and I'm like, yeah, I got it. If y'all email me and I like don't email you back, I promise it's not personal. Because if I don't email you back, like when I get it, if I email you back and I say like, thank you, that is not me like ignoring your email. That's acknowledging to you that I got it. Like how that people with no life whatsoever. And that's why I laugh, because I'm like, where do you all come up with this time? And can you share it with me? Like, the only time I don't like Flash fan is when he calls me Army. I'm just kidding. It's just hilarious because I'm like, do y'all sleep? Like, do you like eat? Do you play with your children? Do you have your own hobbies? Like, what do y'all do? Because this is weird. It's just funny. Like, I'm just not enough hours in the day. And then sometimes you just want to sit down and like do nothing. Like, that's when I put on like Charlotte Dobre is like she does a lot of, if y'all know my petty potatoes or her petty potatoes, I'm a petty potato. Y'all, it's just like she goes through Reddit like, am I the a-hole? And it's like, you just listen to her give her opinion and read them for you. You don't even have to do any of the effort of reading them. She reads them for you. And it's like, I don't have to work. Like, and you just sit back and you just listen. Like, even with sports, I have to think. I have to listen. I have to use my brain to like comprehend what players are going where, NIL stuff. I don't have to think about am I the a-hole? Because it's just funny. And it's just something you like waste your, you can just brain melt. All right, getting back to this, we have a paragraph left. Appellant respectfully requests this honorable court to please advise and take notice of the violations, to either compel court-appointed appellate attorney Joshua Adams to fulfill his legal duties and communicate immediately, or appoint new counsel capable of necessary communication and representation and inclusion of the appellant. I know that she is annoying, Sarah Boone, and she is overbearing, and she thinks she's innocent. She still, to this day, I can almost guarantee thinks she didn't do anything wrong. However, she's got a point here. Like, you got to at least file something. You can't become an appellate attorney. And I'm sorry, if you don't want to be a court-appointed attorney, find a different job. Do you know when stuff is going down with Swallow Girl? I don't. That is one case I have not been paying attention to. Yeah. I have cancer. I live 1 week alone. Will you see me less? Kids, but watching, interacting helps me forget the pain. You'll help me. And I hope you feel better. And you know what? And that's the thing about people who don't hate watch and just watch. They have lives, so they watch when they can. And you'll get like comments, replay crew, sorry, had to, take the wife here, had to do this, or, kids got stuff going on for the summer. And that's what like normal people do. Or they're watching and they're like, gotta go, have to run an errand. And they come back if I'm still alive. And it's like, oh, you're still alive. I made it back. It's all of that stuff. And it's like, the hate watchers are the people who like will watch every second of everything, waiting for something that they can use against you, which is funny because it's just weird. Yeah, Sarah Boone actually wrote a good motion. Sarah Boone writes better motions than Bubbles. Swallow Girl, aka Laura Owens, just waived her right to a speedy trial. At least there's a motion for that. Yeah, and I have to look up. I have to go to the website and where all the documents are being posted. I just haven't lately because other things have been taken. And there, if you do want to write Sarah Boone a love letter, there's her. Her home now. So there's Sarah Boone. And then we're going to get to this. Just this one girl. She just went to the other side of my desk and pushed out my desk drawer. Crazy kiddo. This is Sarah Grace Patrick, the 17-year-old who is accused of unaliving her mother and her stepfather while they slept in their home with a wireless hole puncher and allowing her 5-year-old half-sister to find them. This is the interview with her father. Normally I don't cover Georgia cases, but this is not close to my house. So we will watch this. We'll make this a little faster. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about this, but I did look at some of her TikToks. They are interesting to say the least. And Scott Rouse did a video on her body language. And there is some things that are missing in this area. Yeah, I'm kind of known for people who are people who unalive their parents seems to be a thing on my channel. I don't know why. Yeah. And King Bob, thank you for the 5 gifted Squid Pro Quo memberships. I appreciate you. Oh, King Bob, happy birthday. Thanks for being a member for 10 months. It's my birthday and chat gets the gifts. Hey, Yamaha, Baker will be in heaven now. He can express his love in crayon-scrawled love letters. Grab that address, Baker. He can fix her. Oh, Baker. Oh, and tell Baker that this would be an interesting case for him to follow if this, because he's done the Carly Gregg and he also did the teenager that was found innocent in Florida. It started with Carly Gregg, but see, the thing about Carly Gregg is other people just did the trial. I did all the hearings and the documents. So, Colin Griffith, thank you. This is a case out of Georgia, and this trial probably will be streamed. I will be streaming this trial if it goes to, if it is streamed, because it's just interesting. But here's an interview with her father.
Mountain of evidence. That folder was pretty thin.
That is the father of the girl accused of shooting and killing her mom and stepdad as they slept. In his first interview, Sarah Grace Patrick's dad says law enforcement has the wrong person. What he says happened with investigators during a 4-hour interrogation with his daughter right before she was arrested.
At the end of it, they started throwing...
All right, and we'll get to the actual interview, but thanks, Stats, for the 1 Squid Pro Quo membership. I appreciate all of you. Let's turn the chat green. Let's turn it green. And hey, Gail, how are you? All right, let's skip to not where he is talking. Well, not where the interviewer is talking.
Joining me now is Daniel Patrick, who is Sarah Grace Patrick's dad. Thank you for taking the time to be with us on Law and Crime. There's a lot that I want to get to, but let's just begin with, I know it was a tough day, the day that you learned your daughter was going to be arrested. What was your reaction when you heard that news that that's what police were going to do?
I was in shock, first of all, and it really just broke my heart. And I was just scared for my daughter, not knowing what was going to happen next.
Law enforcement had said that you had to take her to, I guess they had called, and then you brought her to the police station. And what was that whole process like for you, and how it all went down?
So the whole process was the day before they brought us in for a witness impact study.
Why does this family have the worst camera angles in the world? The worst. And like, Sarah Grace has to be the most Georgia name in the world.
Statement is what they were saying, and they were supposed to give property back. When we went in there to allow my daughter to talk, they interrogated her, and we were there for maybe 4 hours or so, and my daughter told them everything that they wanted to know multiple times. At the end of it, they started throwing pictures of her parents at us, her stepdad and her mom.
It's really interesting. Like, I'm just gonna cut in occasionally because I don't want to get Law and Crime after me, but like, because they're different with trials and streaming trials, you can let that go a lot, but interviews are a little bit different because it's their shows that they're actually making money on. But here's the the kicker, you notice how it says her parents? He is her parent. So, like, look what he says.
Pictures of her parents.
Her parents.
Her-
Her parents. He is her parent. Like, where's the and the bachelor, like, not hung up on the curtains, not hung up right is a nice touch.
And we stopped. As a father, she was considered a minor at the time, so I stopped the interview and told them that we were not going to talk no more, and they let us go. I asked them if they were arresting her, and they said no. And about 2 hours later, I guess it was, I received a call from them saying that I have to turn her in by 10 o'clock in the morning, or else they would send out the U.S. Marshals. So I talked to my daughter. She was actually headed back to Alabama to be with one of her friends, and I talked to her. And
okay, and when he says, I just have to pick for people that don't know this area, this is, like, I am close to South Carolina. This town is closer to Alabama. So when he says she's going back to Alabama, it's not like she's taking a very far trip. It's maybe an hour. Maybe an hour. It's maybe an hour. So it's just, and this is what I don't know. Is he implying he's not the father? I don't know. He sounds distant and detached. So did her grandfather. We watched on the last stream when we introduced this case. We looked at the interview with the grandfather. This is weird. Like, this is weird. Yeah, it's a YouTube issue. It's been happening to a lot of people. I think they're trying to, and I've heard it's one ad. Like, it's not all the ads. It's like one particular ad that's doing it. I don't know. But I've also heard rumors that they are trying to force people. It's their way of force people to get YouTube Premium. I don't know. It's just a stupid thing. Yeah, he only claims that her as his daughter to get his 15 minutes of fame. It's just bizarre. Like, things are just weird. I don't know. It's something's just hinky in this whole thing, which is what makes this interesting to me, because none of it seems. Can this be a child that has moved and moved and moved and so on? It seems like her mom and her stepdad had a pretty stable environment, but her dad, not the case. I don't know. I did watch this interview before, but it was like I had it on and then like was doing stuff around the house and talking to Mr. Squid because, I got some stories for y'all.
the lady that lives with me that I'm renting from, she went straight to Alabama and picked my daughter up, and we spent the night together. And then 10 o'clock in the morning, we complied. We didn't turn her in, but we came in and we did what they asked.
Before we get back to this story, we need to take a break and bring you a law and crime legal alert. If you received a Depo-Provera birth control 4 hours of the interview?
Yes, sir.
Because I know police have said, law enforcement, that their words were like, we have a mountain of evidence against Sarah Patrick. Do you have any indication of what that mountain is, of what they think that they have on your daughter?
I can't really speak too much to the evidence. I don't want to talk too much, but if they say they have a mountain of evidence, that folder was pretty thin. That's all I will say. So they showed.
It's one of those things, though. He said that folder is pretty thin. Playing devil's advocate and looking at, the evidence in some of these cases, a lot of it is electronic. So they might have had like thumbnail or thumb drives and stuff like that in these folders, or not had any of it. It just had a folder with pictures. So just because they brought in a folder with pictures does not mean that that's all the evidence that they have. Yeah, it's one of those situations where like they ain't gonna show you all the evidence, and it's weird. It's just weird. Like, it's weird on so many levels. And the second time I'm watching it, it's weirder than the first time.
Showed us a little bit of stuff, but I without attorneys around, I don't really want to speak of that evidence. So, but the evidence that they did show us did not add up at all.
Going back to, and I know it's a tough day to go back to, February 20th, when all of this happened, what did Sarah say to you about what she witnessed that night?
Well, I got a call that morning. I was going to work, and normally my daughter would call me or text me before going to school, tell me she loves me and have a good day. And I answered the phone. I believe it was around 7:40 to 7:45, and nobody was talking. So I thought that she had just butt dialed me, as most people would say. I was headed to work, and 15 minutes later, I received a call from the ambulance, because they put her in an ambulance first, her and her sister. And
Malin, you can always go to the bathroom whenever you want and come back and just catch up. We're good.
they told me that Kristen and James were deceased. And from there, I broke down because I didn't know what was going on. They asked me to come pick her up. At the time, I didn't even know the address. I've only been there to that house during our custody battle for the children once. And then one time, whenever Kristen had been arrested, I had to go pick up my child and bring him home. And then this was the third time, and it took 20 or 30 minutes just to figure out an address, because nobody was talking to me. Nobody was letting my daughter call back. I received a message that she would be up at the sheriff's station, and
Here's another thing. Like, I know my parents are divorced. My parents have been divorced since the 80s. I'm old. They weren't married very long. But like, and I'm sorry, sir, I froze you in the weirdest position. But like, how do you not have, you have minor children. You have minor children. How do you not have the address of the house that they are living in? How do you not have the address of the house that they are living in? I think that would be something, especially if you went through a custody battle, as he calls it. I know during divorces and custody stuff, like, the worst sides of people can come out. Hope I never have to deal with that. But like, it's just one of those things of like, how do you not have the address of where your minor daughter lives? That to me seems like something that is important. And how do you not know how to get there? Like, that's another thing. I'd only been there twice, but how do you not know how to get there? Like, that would be, so if my child ever calls me and said, Mom, I need to be picked up, I'm at Dad's house. Something happened, Dad had to go, or Dad did whatever, and I need to go pick her up in a heartbeat. I know where the hell I'm going. Like, this is, as a parent, I cannot fathom not know. Yes, that's a red flag indicating poor participation. Like, I'm sorry, my parents lived in different states. My parents live in different states now. Hopefully not for much longer, but my dad always knew my address and how to get a hold of me. Yeah, my mom knew my dad's address. Exactly. Like, just things don't, as a product of divorced parents and a parent myself, shit just not adding up. Yeah. If you pause the video when you come back, just click on the gear icon for settings and change the playback speed to 1.5 and you'll catch up back up to live in no time. Like, that's the old expression, my child rather than my daughter. If I had a daughter, I would say daughter. When talking about my boy, I say my boy or my son. Yeah, and Mr. Squid still gets on my case sometimes because I'm like, I was like, your daughter, do you know what your daughter did today? And he's like, our daughter. And I was like, yes, I know. But I'm just like, when she's in trouble, she's your daughter. When she's cute and she's good, she's our daughter. Like, it's, you know. And here's Chris. Thanks for the one gifted Squid Pro Quo membership. Thanks everybody for helping turn the chat green. To me, it screams you didn't care what the address is. Yeah, it just I don't. Maybe it's because I give a shit that I don't know. I just don't understand parents who are checked out of their kids' lives. I just don't get it.
I went to the sheriff's station to pick her up. Kristen's mother was there. You know, it was a very, very hard morning. They took her back for questioning, and I was in the room, and we just did what they asked us to do. I thought nothing of it. We didn't have any kind of clue of what the nature of the crime was. We talked to the detectives.
And Willie, you bring up a really good point. I always knew where my children lived after my divorce and never missed a child support payment. Cannot stand a deadbeat parent. Was always involved in my children's lives. And I did a stream about this case, specifically this case, Monday, because Tuesday I had a migraine. So Monday. And when we watched the interview with the grandfather, which was the mom's dad, and he was laid, like he was in his chair like this, and he was like looking all around, like he was FaceTiming with a family member, like, you know, like this. And it's like, were you not involved in her life either? Like, the family dynamic here does not scream tight-knit Southern family like a lot of people like to claim they are. And I say like to claim they are because a lot of people will tell you they are a tight-knit family, and they aren't.
And from there, they took a break in between, and they were like, would you like to go outside, get a breath of air, smoke a cigarette, whatever? And that's what I did. I came back into the room, and they were interrogating her without my permission. She was 16 at the time. And then from there, they let us go. We were there for quite a few hours. I know they were doing their job because that's what they're supposed to do. But from there, we just went home.
Over the past 4.5, 5 months since it happened, and then when...
I also have another question, though. Like, why were the police interrogating? Was his version of interrogating than theirs? But you're not supposed to question a minor without either a parent or a lawyer or a guardian ad litem or somebody present. This just all screams like something is just hinky here, and I can't put my finger on what it is. The
Carroll County Sheriff's Office said that she was going to be charged with these murders. I mean, what indication did you get that they were looking at her as a suspect during that time?
Well, I got no indication at all because they weren't talking to me because I was not next of kin. They were talking to, of course, Dennis, and, you know, James is next of kin. So I never heard from them for 4.5 months. I just, you know, we were starting to try to get over the situation. We were still in mourning, and they called. Like I said, they called us up and asked us to come in. Said that they were going to give back property, like my daughter's phone and some jewelry and stuff like that. And so we went in, and that's how everything happened the other day when they took out the warrants.
What was, and I know that the sheriff had said, or the sheriff's office spokesperson for them, that Sarah had lived with the Brocks like short term. What was kind of the living, like how long? How would you characterize and I know it's difficult with divorce, and divorce is complicated, and this is tough, but what was the relationship, I guess, between Sarah and the Brocks?
She loved them. She loved them with all her heart. You know, me and Kristen, we got divorced 2019. She got with James in 2018. My kids lived with her for about a year, and then Kristen got in a little bit of trouble. And I went back to the courts during COVID and fought for custody, and I won full custody of both of my kids, and they came home with me. I went through a divorce, and after my divorce, I wasn't stable. I was working and everything like that, but Kristen and James had more to provide as far as at home, school systems and stuff like that. And it was my daughter's choice to go back and live with them. And I allowed it because I thought that things were getting better, and we went from there. And so Sarah's been with them, I think, since 2023.
Did she have, and I know you said that she loved them. There's been a lot of talk about her social media, and we can talk about that in a moment. But was there any sort of issue she had with them at all that would have, for people looking at this and hearing what the sheriffs are saying, like any sort of problem in the house that could have led to something?
I wouldn't say there was any kind of problem in the house. I think that she was just a normal teenager growing up, and when she didn't get her way, she called me, and when she didn't get her way with me, she called them. It's just.
I feel like baby Squid already does that. That's just a child thing. Like when she doesn't get her way with me, she'll go, "Daddy, daddy, 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 daddy." When she doesn't get her way with him, she'll come to me, "Help me, help me." Girl, you don't need help. You just got told no. But like, I think that's just a child thing. But the 2019, 2018 thing, they got divorced in 2019, but that was when their divorce was finalized, not when they started divorce. He never mentioned when they started divorce proceedings. So the cheating, it could be cheating, but it also could be they got separated and people start dating when people are separated and not, they're in the process of a divorce and not actually divorced. Technically not cheating, but technically not single either. It's a gray area. Sarah Grace is a 17-year-old, this girl out of Carroll County, Georgia, which is southwest of Atlanta, more west than south, as we've discovered. But she is accused of unaliving her mom and her stepdad in February of 2025 with they were both hit with a wireless hole puncher more than once. And their 5-year-old daughter, Sarah Grace's half-sister, found the bodies. And she was just arrested the 10th or 11th of July. So, and Law and Crime has done interviews with the grandfather, the mom's dad, and this is the interview with her biological father. She also reached out to creators on TikTok to ask them to look into the case. It's just all weird. It's all weird. It's just all weird.
Typical teenager. There wasn't many problems in the house. I mean, other than sometimes, their punishments, was different than my punishments. But other than that, no, there was actually no problems in the home that I knew of at all.
For you, I know she had lived with you since the deaths of the Brocks. Were there any red flags for you over that period of time? Like for people who have just kind of heard this and you have the sheriff's office saying that she's responsible for this, and then she's living with you for this period of time. Was there anything that stood out to you that at any point you were thinking or maybe even suspecting your daughter of being accused of this?
Not at all, not one bit. Of course, when it all happened, there was a lot of crying, a lot of tears, a lot of mourning. A few weeks after we started, applying to jobs and stuff like that, she graduated high school. We had a couple different holidays.
Yeah, I live in Georgia. I live near Savannah, so I'm on the other side of the state from this, which is part of the reason that I'm covering it. And I just tend to cover children who unalive their parents or are accused of unaliving their parents. For some reason on this channel, that's something that I started covering with Carly Gregg back in October, and it just sort of happens. So, yeah.
Days that were pretty difficult because, Mother's Day, her mother's birthday, her own birthday. And, nothing indicated to me at all that she could have done this. Me and my daughter have 100% open relationship. I know about her boyfriends. I know about anything that she's done. I've told her always, if you're ever in trouble, if you ever need me, if you're going to do something that's behind my back, you can always call me, and we lived a typical life, but there was no red flags at all. She expressed her feelings about her mom a lot. You know, we started going to the same church that Brox went to because, you know, after this incident, you know, it took my children's home away, it took their security away, and I didn't want it to take their faith away. And that's about it. I mean, but other than that, no red flags. My daughter, you know, I know she was on TikTok and she was reaching out to people. From what I understand, I'm not on TikTok. I'm not, as you can see, you know, trying to even hook up this conversation with you. I'm not very good with technology. But I know that she reached out to people on TikTok because she was wanting help, because we weren't getting answers from Carroll County. You know, the only people that were getting answers was.
All right. This freaking TikTok, I watched this damn TikTok. I watched it and I heard I have a huge problem with this TikTok. One, who doesn't wipe their eyes when they cry? Secondly, there is no grief here. There's no, like, you know, when you cry, if you ever cry, look at yourself in the mirror when you were crying. That ain't it. Secondly, there's your mascara does not run like that unless you planned it to run like that. I just can't. Like, ugh. This hit home for me as I used to live in Dallas, Georgia, and my daughter and grandchild live in Carrollton. Oof. Yeah, they lived in a tiny town. Starts with a T and it's like 4 letters. I can't remember the name offhand, but yeah, she had a boyfriend. She's a 17-year-old girl in Georgia. She has a boyfriend. My daughter had that cutting herself. We were fast to help her, and it helped. It's just, yeah, she hasn't gotten a snotty nose either. Yeah, it's just, and her eyes aren't red. Like, if you actually look at her corneas, they're not, like, the whites of her eyes are white. Like, I don't know about y'all, but when I cry, especially if it's an ugly cry, such as this situation right here, your eyes get red, and they stay red for a little while. They don't go back to, you know, it's why you stop crying, and even like 20 minutes later, someone is like, well, you look like you've been crying today. This looks like she could go and she'd be fine and like go back to her day. Like, it's weird.
Was the next of kin, not my daughter, not me, not nobody. So for the last 4.5 months, we lived waiting for answers ourselves.
The spokesperson for the sheriff's office who announced her arrest, when we spoke with her and we asked about just asking for, on their end, the red flags that they felt to then get to the point where they would make an arrest,
like,
or anything along the way.
Wait.
And I know there's been a lot.
So I'm gonna back up 5, like this picture right here. Look at, she proves that she can. There's wrinkles in her forehead when she makes faces. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Look, you can see them here. If she was actually crying and scrunching up her face, you would see those. There was nothing. Nothing. Like she just got Botox.
Made about what Sarah said at the Brock's funeral and her speech. And they said, because they felt they said this, that it was scripted. And then at the end, she said, sorry. And that was to at least the spokesperson, something that for them was like, wait a second, what's going on here? I know you were very proud of your daughter and to get up on stage and to give that speech. What's your perspective of the eulogy she gave at the Brock's funeral?
That eulogy was not scripted. My daughter came with that eulogy through her heart for her mom and James, because she thought she was doing the right thing speaking, and for people to hold that against her, I mean, come on. None of that was scripted. That was all real emotions. You know, she asked me permission to do it, and I gave her permission, and she's a very talented girl, you know, when it comes to being able to speak. I mean, we can sit at a table and she can say a blessing 10 times faster than most people. As far as the I'm sorry goes, You can sneeze on my daughter and she'll tell you, I'm sorry. You know, she says I'm sorry to everything. Not just to
Malin, I didn't mean like she got Botox. I'm just saying like if it would be like if she was crying with Botox. Like you wouldn't see you watch somebody with Botox trying to cry and they can't because they can't show any emotion. So she's not actually showing any real emotion. Otherwise her face would be crinkled up. I didn't mean it in the sense of she actually got Botox. I meant it in the she's fake crying, because if she was actually crying, her face would show more emotion. Her eyes would be scrunched a little bit more. Her forehead would be scrunched. Even if you were trying to keep your eyes open, your forehead scrunches a little bit. You get this furrowed brow right here, what I call the RBF line. It's like when I look at people and I'm like, what the heck? You know, you get that line in the middle of your eye or in the middle of your eyes. So yeah, but she had none of that. It was almost like, you know, she's just a normal 17-year-old with just talking. You're not going to see any lines there. It's just weird.
the eulogy, you know? Really, I mean, you can step on her toe and she'll tell you she's sorry she was in the way. That's just the type of girl she is.
And I know you had said that they didn't really talk to you because I guess how the family tree works, you know, you wouldn't be considered next of kin. But how often was she communicating, whether it was the interrogation, the day of her arrest or day before, and then you have right after the murders happened? Did she talk about how often she was communicating with law enforcement, kind of in that 4.5 month period?
She used my phone to talk to the investigators for the first month or so until everything kind of started to quiet down. They quit talking to her. She was very open with them. Every time she had any idea of a suspect or what could have went on, she told them, she texted them. And other than that, you know, I wouldn't know no more than that. You know, I let her do what she thought was right.
I know some people have also said, and I know you've only been in the house a couple times, but for there to be gunshots in the home, and then apparently James had some sort of heart machine that would have gone off and made a lot of noise if his heart had stopped beating. And there was that question of, how does she not hear this? What do you say to that?
Well, the LVAD machine that controlled his heart, it was a constant thing that it would go off. We went out to dinner before with them. I personally treated them to dinner a few times, and the LVAD would go off. And it could be something as small as blood pressure or just any little minor thing, and that LVAD would go off. To me, it wasn't too loud. And he would able, whatever the problem was, he would be able to regulate that and make it stop if he could.
Sorry, the little needed a refill on her water. However, that LVAD is louder as hell. It's not like unbelievably loud. Go get it. But it is loud enough to be heard. It's loud enough to be heard. So for him to say it wasn't too loud. No, it is loud because I've changed the batteries on them. And when you go from wall power to battery power, it automatically alarms because that's just what it's supposed to do. Because when you detach the batteries, it triggers the alarm and it makes my heart race every time. So it's just like one of those. He's making shit up.
Make it stop. Then it was a trip to the hospital, and a few trips to the hospital. That machine, when it went off, it was almost normal to them. It was a part of their life at that point since he's had that. So I don't know much about LVAD and the heart problems that he had, but I do know that about the machine. Like I said, we were eating, and it went off.
What theories when you were, I don't know how often you would talk about that night with your daughter, but I guess when you would get to that point where you'd speculate about what may have happened, what is Sarah
alarm loud?
That night?
I don't like to talk bad about them and their deaths and stuff like that because I know that families are hurting and stuff like that, but Sarah knows more than most people know. And the only thing that she could think of was there was drug deals go wrong. They ripped somebody off a couple months before that, and Sarah thought that it could be that person. You know,
No, don't believe that one for a second. Don't believe that one for a second. Don't believe that one for a second. Because she had said that she heard the LVAD, but she didn't hear the gunshots. That's no. I mean, I'm sorry. If you can hear an LVAD, it's loud, but it's not as loud as a gunshot. So if you heard the LVAD, you would hear the gunshot. And
I'm not, when I say drugs, I'm not talking about like, you know, the hardcore drugs or anything like that. From what I understand, it was over weed or something like that, but a substantial amount. And that's, you know, and she was telling the investigators that the whole time. And when we talked to the investigators, they said that they had already, you know, talked to them and said that they counted them out. So, I mean, there was a incident that happened right before Valentine's. My son told me about, because when the detective came to my mom's house where I was staying, he started asking about certain people, and there was a friend of theirs that actually pulled a gun on them right before Valentine's Day, and my son witnessed it. You know, I can't say his name or anything like that, but you know, that's my son, and he's not just gonna make stuff up like that. You know, my son was with me at the time of everything. He was actually on winter break, so I had my son, and for that entire week. But when it all happened, my son, you know, he brought that up to us, that the family friend that had pulled a gun on James in the kitchen, and they asked him to leave and make him go walk the dogs.
Since you've talked with Sarah, since she's been in jail, what is
when I first heard the theories of this case and I first heard the facts, I'm like, okay, it sounds all circumstantial to me, and like the state's gonna have a hard time proving stuff. He has 2 kids. Yeah, you and your son, not your daughter. Yeah, his son was with him, but not his daughter. And in all of her TikToks, do you notice that her brother is not in any of them? Her little sister is. It's just one of those things of like, the more interviews that are done with family, the less credible that she seems. Both kids are from her or his ex-wife. So both Sarah and the son are from the woman who passed away. So, well, he has 2 kids. He has a girl, and yeah, he says my son, but he doesn't call her by her name either. It's just weird. This is just weird, like fucking weird.
she told you about any community? Has she spoken with law enforcement since?
No, because you know, when they did the interrogations and stuff like that, or what they called the impact statement, they all played really friendly.
I don't know how old the son is.
They wanted to just slam her at the end, and you know, after the warrants came out and everything, we told her, you know, not talk to them no more, because we couldn't trust them. You know, we couldn't trust their integrity at that point.
Yeah, the little girl, the 5-year-old, heard the shot, from what I understand. Yeah, his 2 kids are full siblings. So Sarah and her brother are full siblings. Both have this wonderful person as their father, and had the deceased as their mother. So then why didn't he have both children unless daddy knew what she was up to? There's the $1 million question. This interview leaves more questions than answers. And I feel like that's happening a lot, because even the grandfather, like, is leaving more questions than answers, because he was detached, and it was the mom's dad. And it was like, none of it making any sense to me. Like, and you'd think the product of divorced parents who had custody through multiple states and like mom got remarried, that things would have, I could relate to this case a little bit. This is weird.
And yeah, that's pretty much it,
For you as a dad, and I know you have a son who has been impacted by this, you're working just as a regular person, still carrying on with that part of your life. I mean, what is your day-to-day like since Sarah was arrested?
My heart's been broken, man. It's hard to hold it together. I work in the construction field. Since she's been arrested, I couldn't even tell you the weather because I don't even want to get on media, because all the bad things that are being said. It's my daughter, and my day-to-day is just, when I talk to her, that's the highlight of my day, just to get to talk to her, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour. I have to maintain my normal life because I still have my son to take care of, and I have her to take care of. And I honestly, I can't miss a day of work. I'm just your typical blue-collar father that's trying to take care of his kids. When this all happened, I won't lie, my kids lost a lot of their security. Me, James, and Kristen, we were working together on raising them, and we were doing a really good job,
Apparently you weren't doing that good of a job, because 2 of them are unalived and one of your children is accused of doing it. And if the 5-year-old found the bodies,
happened, it threw a whole curveball into all of our lives. Not just, not just mine, not just Sarah's, not just Donnie's or Jaylee's. It threw a curveball into everybody's life.
And I know there's only so much that you can say about kind of the evidence and the investigation part of it. So if you can't answer this, I totally get it. Did law enforcement indicate to you that they have the alleged murder weapon in all of this?
No, not at all. Not at all. They don't have a weapon. There has been no weapon found. I mean, they searched that property for days and days, and there was no weapon found.
With the house, and I haven't been to the home. I do know Carrollton a little bit, but it seemed like it was a home on a kind of just a regular road with, not neighbors that are close by. I mean, with the makeup of the house, I mean, what do you want people to know about that home and kind of the makeup as they're trying to picture and piece together what law enforcement is saying and what they say right out?
Yeah, this is this is Flash Randy bring up a good point. Why would they tell you that? I don't know. And I'm wondering if they had security cameras and if anybody was, because they said they were looking into more people, or they were still looking at other suspects. And I'm wondering if one of her friends was there or she called them, that, like a Carly Gregg situation where she called her friends and asked if they'd ever seen a dead body, kind of a situation. Because Carly Gregg did that. Carly Gregg was 15 years old, or 14 years old at the time. But he sounds like he's struggling to understand, kind of like me. Any FOIA released cams? No. And I'm wondering if they had like security cameras like out their front door or on their driveway or anything like that. So it's, are they fishing dad so he'll make a mistake? I don't know. It seems like he's struggling to believe it kind of makes me think that he wants to believe she's innocent, but he's not sure. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I could be wrong, though. Like I said, this is just the vibe I'm getting.
I really don't know too much about the home. Like I said, I've only been there a few times, and I won't lie, when we had to go back and recover some of the property and stuff like that, I was pretty much still in a state of shock. It was just your basic, I guess, ranch-style home. I guess the closest neighbor was to the left, maybe 100 yards or so, and I don't really remember how far the one on the right was. So I didn't really pay much attention to those details.
I know on Facebook you wrote a lengthy post that just said you believe your daughter is 100% innocent. Why now? What is, coming forward, speaking publicly, why is it important for you to do this?
Because I see what what everybody's putting my daughter through. There's not many people advocating for her, and as her.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how do you not know that, like, how close the closest neighbors are? And you could not know distances. It's fine to not know distances, but like, you go, I guess this house to this side is about, you know, maybe 100 feet, and the house to that side maybe like, maybe, you know, 150, 200 feet. I'm not really sure, but they're pretty close, or they're not far away. Like, I could throw a rock and hit it, or, you know, it's like the length of a football field. Like, come up with some common things to say what the distance would be. And who doesn't have the situational awareness to know what? Yeah, he's only been there a couple times. He's not sure where they live. My guess is if he's bringing up the fact that they smoked pot, he probably smoked with them. I'm just saying. I just have the feeling. I'm having throwbacks to Mom, I'm having throwbacks to when I spent the night at a couple of my friends' houses in a holler, and we walked through the house, and the parents were lighting up, and I was told just not to look and just put my head down and go to the bedroom.
Father, I need to advocate, and the reason that I took so long was because I personally, I was scared. You know, I didn't know what was going on, and it was a big blow to me. So I came out on Facebook and told everybody that, because I wanted the world to know my opinion, because they know everybody else's opinion as far as the Brock family and stuff like that. But they're not hearing from anybody else other than me and Dennis at this point, and I feel like I have to step up.
What does Sarah, I know she's being represented by a public defender right now. What does her defense look like as this goes forward?
I'm not 100% sure. We're still waiting to talk to them and get into. I've been in touch with them, and we've been in touch with their investigator, and we've been in touch with the lawyer a couple of times, but at this point, they're not really talking too much. From what I understand, you know, we've got an arraignment or something like. No, not an arraignment. I don't know how. I've never been in trouble, so I don't know how this stuff works. But we're waiting.
For some reason, I don't believe that, but he might be telling the truth.
For a preliminary bond hearing and stuff like that, and going from there. But I am working with other people and trying to talk to other people to try to get her a real lawyer.
Is there anything I missed, or anything you want to make sure that people know about your daughter?
My daughter wouldn't hurt a flea. She'd give you the shirt off of her back. She's very intelligent. She's
that's a tiny shirt.
She's hardworking. You know, she just graduated. We were teaching her to drive a car. We're getting ready to get her driver's license. She's just your typical 17-year-old that does what 17-year-olds do. You know, like I said, she wouldn't harm nobody. She's never been in a fight in her life. She's never put her hands on anybody. You know, she's a good girl all around.
Did she know how to handle a gun?
Not that I know of. I mean, I know that she had shot.
Sorry, you don't need to be a rocket scientist in order to shoot a gun.
A gun a few times, but.
And he literally just said.
I know that she had shot a gun a few times, but not very often.
Then she knows how to shoot a gun. It's not rocket science.
I know that, judging by what I've seen, it would take somebody to be trained at shooting a gun to do what was done to them.
Oh, no. No, Mom, 17-year-olds dress like that. I'm sorry. Have you seen our cousin? Like, she's in college. She dresses like that. Like, she's a good kid and she dresses like that. So, like, it takes a trained marksman to do what they did. I'm sorry. It does not take a trained marksman to unalive somebody in their sleep with a wireless hole puncher. Like, I need, you know what I need? I need to order some BS flags from Amazon or make some BS flags, because I throw the fucking BS flag on that one. Like, it does not take a trained. If you are going to unalive somebody from like 100 yards, yeah, you need some training, because that's a little bit more difficult of a shot. Still can easily be done. Ask me how I know. However, the point blank range in a bedroom while the people are sleeping. I'm just saying that's not an expert marksman. I'm sure that doesn't take yeah. I got opinions about that one.
You know,
Where's Brandon Herrera to test that out?
Really say about that.
I know that initially investigators had said there was no sign of forced entry on the house.
I have pictures of the door.
Do you believe that there was forced entry in the home?
Yes, sir, I do. I have pictures of the door. There's clearly like an indentation and almost like a crowbar mark or something like that. I know it didn't break the entire door down, but it's like my daughter said, they slept with the doors unlocked. You know, so I feel like whoever went in there, they knew what they were doing, because as you go through that back door, you're instantly in their room. Basically, you turn left and you're in their room. And I feel like the mark on the door was because, say, if they did have the door locked, they were moving quickly. They wanted to get in as fast as possible, even if the door was unlocked or not. Obviously, they wasn't trying to make noise. They were trying to get in there and take care of what they were trying to take care of. Somebody assassinated them, and it was not my daughter.
And just before we go, is there anything that I missed or anything you want to make sure? And I know I asked you this once before, but just as, you know, I want to make sure you have your opportunity to make sure people know about your daughter. And then also, just as they've taken in to at least what we know from the sheriff.
And the fact, from what I understand, they were not shot once. They were shot more than once each. So, yeah, somebody trying to jam open a door, you can hear. Like, you can hear when someone wiggles a door handle. Like, you can hear. I'm just, oh yeah, the inconsistencies and the cover. Like, the more that her family talks, the less I feel inclined to say that she's innocent. Of course, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, and things will come out at trial. I'm sure we will get the full story. However, there is just some hinkiness. And also, he also did an interview with the stepdad's niece, which we will be talking about as well on another stream. This stream is almost 2 hours long, and I have to, my dad will be here soon. Yeah, my dad will be here soon. So I have to get going after we get this done.
Sheriff's office, this mountain of evidence, and we don't know what's in the mountain of evidence that they haven't said. But is there anything I missed that you would want to make sure people know?
No, sir, there's not much you missed. I really don't have much more that I can really talk about. I've seen some of the evidence, but I'm going to leave that to the lawyers in the courts. And like I said, the evidence that I have seen does not add up. And I've talked to the investigators quite a few times, and they even slip up on their own words about the evidence, which, like I said, makes me not believe in their own integrity. You know, the integrity of the entire investigation. You know, if you're sitting here working on this story or this scene for so many months, you should have your works together. You know, and that's how I feel.
This has me torn.
Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I know this isn't easy. We really appreciate your.
All right, this has me torn, but I just can't. There's just something about her family that is not adding up. Something's hinky. It just something's hinky. And the more that her family talks, the more it's like, did you actually know her? because you didn't seem to be that involved in her life. If she did it, it probably needed to be done. Something bad happened in this house. I know because I lived in a house like this. I don't think anything bad happened in the house. Like, I know a family, like, I grew up in a tiny town. Like I said, with the whole drug issues. Like, my best friend, one of my best friends is in and out of, well, he's not in and out of rehab. That's not putting it right. But like, I check on him every once in a while, and I need to check on him more, because that house that I was talking about that I used to spend the night at a lot, his sister was one of my best friends when I lived in that town. And I used to spend almost every weekend over at her house. Mom, you know who I'm talking about. And their family was into drugs when I was younger, and he got into drugs as an adult. But you can also be into drugs and not be like, being into drugs doesn't automatically mean you're abusing people. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's a, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn on what I think of this, but the more her family talks, the more I don't see her being innocent. However, that is all I've got for today. Glad we got some of the things that we didn't get out in the other stream. My dad is in town. I will be doing a stream tomorrow. It'll be probably a short one. We don't know when this is going to trial. She just was arrested. She hasn't been arraigned. She hasn't been formally charged yet. However, when this more information does come out on this, when evidence is released, if I can get my hands on more documents, we will be following this all the way till trial. I also did have updates on the Sean Stines case out of Kentucky, the Letcher County, Kentucky sheriff that unalived the judge in his chambers on camera. But we will save that update for another time. On that note, guys, I will see you on the next one. My dad will be here soon, and it's family time now. So I'm not doing a birthday stream on Saturday. Our guy's coming to look at the internet. Okay, you're done. I'm going to rage quit. Yes, we got a rage quitter. Like, somebody screenshot that. There's for your Discord haters. There's the rage quitter of the day. Ta-ta for now. Bye, guys. Have a good day.